Hi, welcome back to our lesson. We are working on a piece by Jaime Zenamon. On this edition we are using, there was a misprint, or probably they used English font, so it wasn't possible to use this Spanish N with this symbol above. So it's not amanecer, but amañecer, and it is sunrise. Okay? Um, so it is important for you to deal with how do you communicate how a sunrise should sound. Okay? The option which I did was to deal mainly with colors, and I started in normal color. When it was the minor, I treated as if it was a dark cloud uh, blocking the sun for a while. So I played a little bit more dolce. Okay, and then when I returned back to the A, I played a little bit more metallic, the theme. And then when we had these high notes with accent, I played very metallic, so they should sound like some sun rays that go through this dark cloud, which show you that the sunrise is coming, no matter how dark the cloud is. And I finish with a very metallic color, so as if to transmit that we have really the sun here. There are other options. You can create yours. I believe on the guitar, dealing with colors is the easiest way to deal with that. But even if you find different options, and please do seek other options, have fun looking for colors, you have to deal with the fact that the very first information that you are giving the audience is the name of the piece. And everyone can relate to the name of that piece. Anyone, anywhere, has an idea on what sunrise should sound. You can do the opposite. You can do very different from what I did. Please do. But even if you want to do the opposite, you still have to deal with the fact that sunrise is an important information and you should not ignore it and toss it away. Okay? Nice. So we are in our final part of our student material, and as usual, when we go to the end, we are more reviewing the same concepts. So if you are following our lessons, you already must have dealt with pieces that also work on the same things which are happening here, which are differentiating melody from accompaniment, doing arpeggios, and this is pretty much what's going on. This high note which happens on measures 2, 4, 6, 8, I recommend you not to play with apoyando, rest stroke, because some of the beauty of this music, especially for me, is this effect, that is created by letting notes ring as much as possible. And when you do a rest stroke, you're muting another string. And if you do it with more emphasis, sometimes you may even damp two strings. So This is why I recommend you to do that in rest stroke, in tirando. And but you need to do an accent. There are two options to do the accent. The very first one is, especially because it's on the first string, you can go as far as possible and just make a long movement, a wide movement. The wider the movement, the stronger. So you create an accent just playing that note much wider than the other notes. You don't need to use strength at all. But if you want to hammer or to really press it stronger and make it some stronger, and then demands some muscle strength, something that you can do, I'll change the angle a little bit, is just to dig a little deeper and go push the string downwards more than normal. So especially if you do that on the metallic, it can be very safe and it does sound like a bell. So it's interesting to do that kind of accent. I did that kind of accent. Just dig deeper, and especially on here on the metallic region, the chance that you buzz or create some kind of noise is very low and it sounds very present. Okay, on the second part, I changed the fingering a little bit. On measure 15, we are starting as he rolled. Then, man, you're already here. Just stretch and go back. I think it's easier than to change everything else. It's just like if you try to stretch your both legs at the same time, this is hard. But if you lock one leg into a position and then try to stretch only one, you're going to stretch more. So this is pretty much what's happening. You're just locking the other fingers in position, stretch and back. That's not that difficult, at least for me. But if you want to follow the written fingering, that's fine. It's not a problem. I do recommend, however, for you to change the fingering on measure 16. So we start measure 16 playing open strings and then start with finger 1. 4, 2, 1, and then open strings, and you can change everything easily. Okay? Two small details, ornaments we have worked so far, and although there's a rallentando, I don't think, especially in this piece, that the rallentando applies to the ornament itself. So what it means is we have an F sharp with an appoggiatura. This appoggiatura should be played fast, but the F sharp is getting farther from each other. That's what the rallentando does. It creates a larger distance in the timeline between notes. So we are just they are being more far from each other, but it's still always fast. Para, para, para. There are situations which the ornament itself also has a rallentando, but I don't think it applies to that piece because it's such a embellishment on itself that the notes themselves are not as important as the effect. That's why I think it happens so. If there were a situation in which the notes themselves would be more important, then the rallentando would apply to the ornament, and then you should play tarara, tarira, tarira. One example of this taking place is on Concerto de Aranjuez second movement. There are some situations which that occur. But here I think really the effect of the ornament sounding like a sun ray is more interesting. So the note should be played a little bit farther from each other, but always with a fast appoggiatura. Other thing that we have to work on is when we change positions, especially in a piece of music like that, it's relevant to avoid any noises, unnecessary noises especially. And it's quite easy, you know. If you just pull your finger up, completely up, and then change positions, there won't be any noise. You can try that. Just play the note, go up, and then change position. No noise. If you try to take the finger off the string and do the position change at the same time, that's where the noise comes from. If you try to do both, noise. Okay, so just work to make that fast, okay? And in this piece it's quite easy because when we have our first position change, in fact you already have the finger one lifted. So you just have to take off the two so you can reach with one. And you are playing A, E, B, D sharp. Play the D sharp and already take the two off. Am I cutting the note a little bit sooner? Yes, but in a piece of music like that, it's so delicate. I think making the mistake of ending the note a little bit sooner, but making it sound without any noise at all is more relevant than being more keen on how long each melody note should sound, but letting a lot of noise in changing positions, okay? There are some pieces, there are other situations which this kind of noise is unavoidable, and then we try to weaken it or deal with that in a different manner. But this is not the case here. It's possible. It's quite easy. Why not doing it? Okay? So on measure, then we are here on our F sharp, and then when you have to change position once again, now it's a little bit more difficult because it's 1 and 1. But as I told before, you can just play E, B, C sharp, take up and change. And then it will be fine. Work on that piece, have fun looking for colors that will help the audience understand what sunrise would sound in that piece. And as always, have fun.